Noah.
Live coming at you from somewhere on the internet.
Noah Raskin. And
yeah.
Yours,
okay, so we're live on YouTube as well. So let's get it together, fellas.
Beautiful.
What's up, internet, right? I guess we're intro to, what are we calling this? What do we have a name yet? What are we doing here?
I don't even think we have a name yet. Yeah.
That's right. That's what we.
This is what this episode is about.
Topic number one is let's pick a name, right?
In fact, I think it'd be cool to ask the viewers maybe if they have any.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be real great if we had viewers at the moment. If you're watching this in the future, please skip forward to minute number.
It's like 5 hours later. They have a name. Just skip to the end. So guys, I want.
Go ahead. Nope.
No, it's fine. Good.
I was just asking a Zoom related question about is the live stream basically streaming how I configure the setup here? So if I set up a speaker view, it's going to stream a speaker view, or how does?
I believe so, because you're the host.
Okay, cool.
We could do speaker view, or we could do like everybody. I think you could switch from time to time just to like have the full panel.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the live stream so I can watch, but you guys go ahead, and I think you had a little segment you were going to jump into there. So go ahead and I'll do my producing thing in the background.
Yeah, and I think it's important to preface to anybody who's watching this that being that this is our first kind of like official one, I guess, that bear with us because we're still trying to kind of figure out how this is all working. So
yeah, I think that's part of the fun of this is, people getting to see the process. And I think the goal, it'd be cool even if doing support and having people like asking questions and be able to jump in with them. They share their screen, like getting really interactive with this kind of stuff would be really valuable, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I like that idea a lot.
Nice. Okay, the tweet's about to go live.
Just gonna send it.
Nice. It's very exciting. I last week I was mentioning this earlier. Sorry. Here we go. So many people calling me.
Please mute your cell phones and devices.
Yeah. Let's do that now. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so last week was very exciting. It was totally serendipitous. Noah and I were spending like 2 hours of our life trying to figure out how to go on live and just have a conversation with each other. And then it turned into so many people joining us on the Zoom call. And we were like, this has to be a weekly thing.
Like 2 hours of our life trying to figure out how to go.
Yeah, the conversation was so natural and just flowing so serendipitously. I was like, I think this is the most natural format of a discussion you can have, where you don't have a topic. What the topic is, we're discussing global topics with people around the globe. That's actually a nice caption we can even use. Like that's what I'm putting on the tweet. So who wants to go for it first? I think ladies first. Colleen, why don't you start us off?
Well, I wasn't on it last time, and honestly, I haven't watched the video from last time in entirety. So I feel a little coming in cold on this, but I think this is a great idea. I used to when I was doing WordPress, there was a weekly Slack thing that I used to get on that I really enjoyed for a while. And, there would kind of be a theme and, just kind of everyone just kind of piling in conversations and then side conversations. So I like the idea of having this, but also having the visual because, it is nice to be able, it makes it a little bit more real time than just, hey, the text messages. Because we're texting on Slack and, so many other mediums, being able to have that adding in the visual is I think a nice bonus. Yeah. So thanks for starting this.
Hey, real quick question, Sarkis, I'm not seeing the post on your feed.
Yeah, see the tweet. I wanted to add the video, the live video on the website as well. Is it on nocode.video /
yeah,
nocode live one?
Nocode.video. That's all. It's on the homepage.
Oh, it's on the homepage directly. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. And that's just hooked up to YouTube.
Yep. And then it'll turn into a video, like a video entry in the CMS. So it'll be archived moving forward too. So like if people go to the live page, they'll see last week or this week's, and then moving backwards each previous week. And so I think what we'll do is we'll start working to add some production value to some of these. We've got some tools on our end that hopefully we'll be able to, bring in some like external videos or even like, do some intros and outros and kind of get a little creative with the graphics.
Very nice.
Like that.
Is this
Yeah.
your project, Raymar?
What's that?
Nocode.video.
That's I say I built it, but the goal is really to showcase just everyone that's doing video and any kind of multimedia work in the no code space.
Yeah.
So we're going to start pulling and curating and kind of organizing
Nice.
some of that content, and then streaming as regularly as possible into the space, and hopefully getting like Pixel Geek and some of the other guys when they stream, pulling their streams into it too. So it's like all just here,
Yeah, that's awesome.
So definitely just a kind of a work in progress.
Really cool.
Posted.
All right, sweet. All right, so Sarkis, you were supposed to have some items. Teach me what you got, bro. What's on your mind right now in the no code space?
Yeah. So I had this really interesting idea, and I'd love you all three of your feedbacks. I was talking to some clients. I finished up some projects today, and it just crossed my mind, like, just as we're having this serendipitous conversation right now, the conversations I was having with these clients was really interesting as well. And I felt that that could be shared with the community. So I just pitched this idea to them. I was like, are you nervous about, like, what if we live stream this? They're like, well, with the no-code community? I was like, yeah. They're like, of course we'd love to do that. Like, it'd be good feedback for our product. It'd be good kind of like, it would be almost like an X factor for client work, where people can just come give feedback, say, oh, this is actually shit, I don't like this idea, kind of thing.
Well, even doing stuff like website reviews and little critiques on the fly, things like that.
And I think it's better to show someone something once than talk about it 1,000 times. How many top 10 things to do when you're dealing with clients or whatever? Like, it's better to just show them a real life scenario of, like, you know what, we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe Noah's going to have a great time with this client, or maybe Noah's going to be like, fuck this, I'm out, like, kind of thing. It's like, we don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, but it's very natural, it's very fluid, and that's what I think is really defines the no-code community. That's just fast, it's efficient, it's not everything put in boxes. So I wanted to call it actually Coffee with Clients as a channel. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, this? I don't drink coffee, so I'm
100%
out on coffee.
Dude, I
like,
never meet anyone that doesn't drink coffee, man.
Really? Oh, you don't drink coffee either?
Raymar's gonna do a competitive channel with, like, tea with clients. It's like
I don't drink,
nothing to do.
I don't drink anything hot. I literally don't drink anything hot.
Yeah, iced
terrible.
tea. It's
I
like
don't even drink,
Gatorade. Raymar's like Red Bull with clients. All right, so yeah.
Noah, what do you got thoughts on names, or what do we call this thing? What do we?
Yeah, I'm not. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, we all got them.
I put it on mute now.
That's like the first policy, is like, we gotta all learn how to turn our fucking phones off. It's a new thing. We've never been on a show before.
Yeah, I know, for real.
Well, I'm gonna do the inaugural Chang Thai elephant beer. I'm gonna open that up for you.
There you go.
I was like, this episode hosted by, sponsored by Chang. But cheers.
Cheers.
There. I think this show was made for me. It's nighttime here. I get to drink beer. I got to chill out. I'm gonna feel great after this. You guys have a long day ahead of you.
That's true.
Yeah. So what's everyone working on? Like, what are the projects you guys got popping? Anything exciting or fun we want to, like, show off or kind of dive into while we're just chatting around waiting for some people to show up here?
Yeah. So I'm sure, I know Sarkis knows, I'm sure you know, I don't know if you know, Colleen, but I've been working on a graphical. I mean, it's not graphical, it's code crumbs. So,
Oh, no, I don't. Tell me about it.
yeah. So that should be launching soon. Well, it's already launched, like, officially, but I haven't, like, publicly announced it. So I guess this is a public announcement. But it's kind of I haven't publicly announced it yet because I've been stacking up a bunch of code snippets for the site, which is what it's actually for. Public announcement. But it's kind of I haven't publicly announced it yet because I've been stacking up a bunch of code snippets for the site, which is what it's actually for. We're getting some kind of announcement. But it's
You're playing it. You're playing the YouTube.
I wasn't. Someone else was.
Oh, I think maybe the the guy that was just on and he jumped out.
Yeah. So Noah basically, Colleen, just like the tweet kind of answer to your question is he basically built a brilliant platform where you have like 50, 100, hundreds. Eventually, there's going to be hundreds of code snippets, JavaScript, and these or built-in essentially elements that you can just copy paste into your project and have it done. And it's like, why isn't like I've been doing this with clonables, and then he's like, by the way, I'm working on this thing. It's brilliant.
That's brilliant because I'm always like at was it Chris Coyer's site, the CSS tricks site, and grabbing stuff off of CodePen and whatnot. So no, that's brilliant. So looking forward to that. That's a great idea. Yeah, it's a great addition to the space.
Yeah, that's
you should do it screen share, dude. Like do screen share real quick. Show us the website.
Yeah, we could do that.
I'm just putting you on the spot right now. It's like show it to just you and your 4,000 friends on this line.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do this.
It's like,
hold on one second.
There's somebody watching live on YouTube right now.
Lovely.
Cool.
It's probably you. Just
No, I have my analytics blocked. So
okay, got you.
Let me see. I'm opening up the page.
We're just learning so much about Raymar today.
All right, can you guys see that okay? Or?
Lovely.
Yeah.
it's a little cropped in, but yep.
I'll log out real quick. So essentially this is the website. You can see that kind of preview code snippet. So a few things are going to change. So right now, this is like this whole slider section is showing the most recent snippets. But this is going to change to like the most favorited snippets of like, per month. So this is going to change and just kind of have, ones that we think are like really cool. Yeah, just a little shout out to like some of the contributors, which currently, including myself.
Why would you include yourself? I don't know about that one. I'm giving you a hard time.
It's like lingering at the bottom too.
I feel like I'm at the bottom, but my image is twice the size of everyone above.
Yeah. And so yeah, shout out to Joe, man. He's donated quite a few snippets which actually aren't on the website just yet. So this is why I haven't publicly announced it yet, other than today. And then Chris donating some awesome stuff as well, which there's going to be more coming out soon. So really cool. Anyway, so when you go to Code Crumbs, it's going to ask you to sign up for a free account, which the free account will actually give you. You'll have access to all the snippets, but maybe you won't know how to implement them, and that's what the premium is for. Being that it takes time to like put all these tutorials and stuff together. So the premium accounts, I'll show you that actually real quick. If I just go to sign in, if I can spell my name, that'd be cool.
What's kind of the like what's your key objective here? I mean, obviously making it easier for people to kind of soup up their site, but are you doing this as part of like just your own content strategy, or are you trying to turn this into like your side business? Or
yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be like I mean, it obviously takes time to put all this together. So
yeah, sure, yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, is this going to be like you about to start Noah's code school here?
I don't know about a code school, but yeah, no, this the idea originally came from I was tired of sifting through a bunch of forum posts and whatnot, CodePen, what is it? What's the Stack Overflow, things like this for snippets and things that I needed for maybe some extra functionality. And so it was getting kind of cumbersome to like stack all the snippets somewhere, and I would lose some of them and whatnot. So I was like, it would be really cool if there was a website that had a whole bunch of snippets that I could just use whenever I wanted to, and just work off of it like kind of as a tool. And so that's essentially what this is. So and you could even see that the idea, like the UI influence, came from, like, you notice there's no pictures here or anything like that, and there's a reason for that. And the idea is that when you come to search for stuff, you just kind of put in key terms. So the search box works. There's also a refined search, which has a bunch of different things that you could think of. So if we hit gallery, you know, obviously, like I said, all of them haven't been posted yet, but we did like, let's see, forms. It'll, you know, it's really fast. So there's going to be a lot of stuff for like CMS items, and then media driven content, and also just generic, you know, snippets, which it's.
So is this using the mix up tools from JetBoost on this, or how's that
Yeah,
working?
this is using JetBoost. Shout out to Chris Bags, man. That dude, it's super awesome. That's how I was able to do this whole drop down list with the filtering and sorting, which works really cool.
Talk about like implementing that. What was the what was the technical difficulty or time required to kind of set something like that up?
Yeah, it actually took me maybe, like, I would say, if I had to really add up the time, I mean, JetBoost makes it so easy to do. With JetBoost, and he links up to JetBoost links up to Webflow's API, so it's really cool. You can find your project really fast in the dashboard in JetBoost, which I can actually just show you real quick. And so this is JetBoost. So if I log in real quick,
Rejected.
I know, right? Wait, I think
I actually signed up for JetBoost the other day, and I played around, but I didn't actually set anything up with it. I just kind of logged in and checked out the back end.
Super easy. He's actually redesigning the dashboard as we speak, which is really cool. So obviously, I have a ton of projects. You can see it's ridiculous. So what you can do is he makes it really easy if you were just to type in code from. So he uses his own filter, and so you can see he just adds these things. A lot of these features are called boosts or boosters. So you can add as many as you want. And the great thing about it, what I think, is that you pay for the booster itself, and then you can use it on unlimited sites and domains, which is awesome. So you can see we have this tag filter for the dynamic list, and the category filter. So that's what's going on here. And then if I were to edit this, you can see it like goes through in steps. So let's see, Webflow setup. Oh, the new one is already live. So this is the new dashboard.
So how do you then take it? Do you embed an HTML and it overlays on a collection list that you have existing, or how does that work actually on the site itself?
Yeah, so it just uses class names. So you're just gonna, so you basically attach, if you see in JetBoost here, if I go to, let me see the crumbs list, you can see it generates like this custom class for like the wrappers. You can see that like these last 4 characters are actually custom for every booster that you create. And it just tells you, that's what these videos are for too. It just tells you like literally what wrapper to add it on.
So it finds the wrappers too in the collection list?
Yeah, so this right here, this collection embed. So the only thing is that you have to add an embed element like inside the item itself. And it's just basically like a marker. So it kind of knows what what to grab for you. But it takes you no second. It takes you no time. You just drop in the embed and then just copy this and then just paste it in the embed, and you're like essentially finished, And the advanced tab gives you extra options to kind of set up some, certain things like a select all button, and you're just going to use these classes that he gives you right here. So you can style everything the way you want, the same way I have it here. It's all styled within Webflow, and you just attach these classes to it, and it just works.
Yeah,
which is really cool. So, and also if you notice, like this at the bottom here is JetBoost driven too. Like this no matches found is JetBoost driven as well. So you can see it's not at the bottom here. So
it's hiding. Is it hiding some of the other things from the collection list, some of the elements, or did you do that in the styling yourself? You've gotten rid of like like the Webflow no items or any of that stuff.
Yeah. So basically, this is using the category filter, right? So this is all like category driven. But the same thing. So if there's nothing in this category, it's just using a certain class to like show and hide this.
Got it.
Element, So yeah, it's pretty simple. but it's amazing. It's like super fast to implement.
Yeah, between this and like what MemberStack is doing with JavaScript over top of the can you kill your screen share? What MemberStack is doing over top of the site with just JavaScript, like what you're able to do over top of all these websites with JavaScript makes it interesting to see, like, you know, what kind of plugins people will start evolving that will just add functionality into, you know, like even those custom embeds with, you know, there's other platforms, some of the e-commerce platforms and stuff that you can just pop in little widgets, and next thing you know, you've got a checkout, you know, on your site. Stuff like that's going to be cool to be able to add functionality to these sites as we move forward.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's going to get even better when Webflow decides to make like the item IDs available, because I know it's not, you know, once that happens too, or at least once that happens in the dashboard, like with the CMS dashboard, it's going to be 10 times better too.
Hold up a second. Didn't they just do that a couple of weeks ago? I haven't actually looked at it, but I thought I saw stuff that they had started to do that.
There is. If I go into my back end and I go into a collection item, you can see an item ID.
So I didn't know if you still had to grab it from like the URL on top. But you can.
You can't reference it as an item field. I think what.
That's what I'm talking about. When you
yeah. So.
Okay.
In that MakerPad tutorial that just finished, Ben showed how he does that with a Zapier connection,
which is great. I'm just not trying to do all that to put it.
Right. Well, I mean, eventually it'll be baked in the cake, but I think for right now, that's the workaround, right? You got to like create an Airtable list in Zapier, go grab the data, create a populating field, and then you need a roll-up field with apparently that or those things, and then you can reference those in a secondary collection or a secondary table or something.
Right. I did see that.
Guys,
Sarkis, you sound real quiet over there. What's going on, bro? You sound real quiet.
No, I was thinking about the event you guys want to organize tomorrow. I'm really excited about that.
Oh, yeah. So we've been doing a meetup here in the local community for probably about 6 months now. I think we're in our 5th or 6th meetup. And we've done everything from like WordPress versus Webflow, a live debate where Nelson came out, to most recently was a building community where we had Brittany from Webflow. And yeah, tomorrow we're introducing people to nocode. So the people that show up, we're going to kind of introduce them to the concept, show them what the potential is inside of the space, the things that they can build as they go, and really get people excited about the potential, you know, that all of us are really excited about, you know, see if we can pass some of that along.
I honestly feel like the environment we've created in no code is very similar to the hip hop movement in the 90s, because back then, like, you know, music was very, you know, limited to these giant music corporations. And then these kids just started, you know, scratching and mixing and creating their own things. And then it became this whole underground movement, which then turned into the whole industry. Like, I think no code is so early. Like, we're in a point.
That's a crazy point, because you notice like a lot of things in music, not just in the 90s, actually today. Yeah, I would say it's actually further from the 90s and more modern, actually, because if you think about it, a lot of the music artists now are all like self-produced. You know, take Russ, for example, you know, putting out music, you know, for 4 years straight on SoundCloud, his own platform, you know, and the no code tools allow you to do that. So there's a lot more people creating more businesses.
But I think I'm not saying, you know, we have to go all the way back to the 90s. I'm just saying back then, I think the 80s and 90s is when industries really became modular. It started becoming Lego pieces where anybody could just take a piece from here and do that. Like, and then the internet came around, and then we did blogging, and then people started doing Wikipedia. So I honestly feel like if you had to say, pick one word to describe no code or the internet itself, I would say it's modular. It's versatile. Like it is plug and play. And Webflow is the perfect example of plug and play, that I could just take this amazing, like Raymar did this amazing template with you know, your homepage as you did, Raymar. Remember the video, the 3D effect?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, he did it so long ago. He's like, which one? But anyways, like he did this element, and I'm like, some kid could go and just take that element and then add it in, take it to the next level and say, well, now I want to do this other thing too. You don't have to build websites from scratch anymore. This last client that I did, nothing, there were only a few elements I did from scratch. Like everything else was just fluid, building products, right? I mean, that is just dope, like having that element, you know, and that just inspires someone's creativity to say, shit, I can take this to the next level. I like what Raymar did. I got this other idea. And I think that modular effect is incredible. I think that's going to define not just the web industry, but every industry, where people are not going to think accounting, you know, programming, like which other industry, they're going to call it the Webflow effect or the no-code effect, where it's like, I want to do what that industry did for my industry, which happens to be super closed. I think politics is the next frontier. I think this idea that now voting and all these other things, you know, like can become more open and more connected, where people can just kind of not just voice their opinion, but create opinions and create trends. You know, what Noah did right now, which I don't know if Noah did, is he first started by creating a tool for him. But that tool could legitimately become the next Wikipedia. That could become like a whole library of just amazing snippets where people can come, share, comment, make it better. Like Noah, you remember someone just came on my Twitter where I posted the effect, the blur effect, right? And he said, could you add 200% saturation? And I did, and it just looked 10 times better. I was like, holy shit, I didn't even think of that. Like it's really remixing code now, which is incredible to me, right? And just, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing. I was saying it's great.
Yeah, okay. He was audibly agreeing. Yes.
Yeah.
But I was going to say splice.com for music. Have you heard of Splice before?
Yeah.
No.
So yeah. So Splice is, no, you look like a rock star. I got confused. You know, I thought maybe you heard of Splice.
I've had a Splice account for like 2.5 years now.
So Splice is brilliant. Splice basically, let me share my screen real quick. I'd like to do a shout out to our sponsor, Splice. So check this out. So you basically can just jump in and take sounds, not just like stock sounds, but sounds from like the world's leading artists. They create these libraries, and you can just get their pack and instantly add it into your soundtracks, into whatever you're doing in Premiere or, you know, in whatever music platform you're using. And it's become basically, like, pretty much, to my knowledge, one of the #1 music platforms on the planet. But what is it? It's basically what you're doing, dude.
Yeah. It is essentially.
Like, here's some packs right here. Sorry, here it is. Let's go into one of them real quick. 1 second.
The cool thing about Splice is that you could have packs, but if you just needed one sound from that pack, you could get it.
That's awesome. Isn't that awesome? Like, it's, look at this. That's this one.
But click on the actual name though.
These are really high quality elements. This is no joke.
Yeah, but what you're missing is click on the name though to go into the pack.
Oh yeah, sure.
You're just seeing the preview track that they put together.
And here it is.
Real magic is all the sounds to it.
55 samples.
So I honestly basically have every track, like every line is literally
like,
just exported as a little.
Yes.
Yeah, some of them are like loops, like instrumental loops, and then there's other ones where you can get like just a single kick, snare, hi-hats, perks.
Yes. And you want to know the craziest part? You can do all of this in Webflow. I could rebuild Splice in Webflow with the CMS, set it up, put the sound, set up an e-commerce thing.
You won't.
And you got Splice.
You won't.
You won't.
I won't. They're daring me. Raymar knows how to make me do it now. I'm gonna be like, until
it's time for the rub.
Like 7 a.m. with like eyes this big. Fuck you, Raymar. Like, we're doing this.
Just got to work too. All the buttons, it's got to play and everything.
And then he's gonna make me make it clonable.
And then I'm gonna clone it.
Like, bro, I was just kidding. I was just playing, bro. But check this out. So look at that. This is a snare, just a snare. Now, what's crazy, guys, is the guy who created Sorry Not Sorry, the song, producer. 1 second. He did a whole like 10, 20 minutes thing. I gotta remember. Oak Felder, fucking genius. So Oak Felder did a whole video where he basically shows you how he used Splice to create that song. And it's just like shit.
Yeah,
Look
I
at this,
think
right?
that's gonna be a. I mean, we're already seeing this all over. Don't play this.
No, I'm putting it here. I'm putting the link over
Yeah,
here.
I was gonna say just copyrighted stuff. You know, the next thing you know, your YouTube.
Oh
videos
shit!
are blacklisted.
I didn't think of that. But the video is there in the comments section, so you guys can check it out.
Yeah, I think this is going to be real interesting. You know, it's been happening in the design world for a long time. People just sharing assets, and you don't really need, you know, or being able to steal it, because you could just see inspiration from somebody and recreate it. Whereas on the web, you had to know how to code to recreate the design. So maybe you could steal some aesthetic, right? You could steal a little bit of the look or some of the inspiration, and then you could take that into your designs, but you couldn't actually recreate that element.
Raymar, let me just stop you
being able to copy and paste outside of Webflow and being able to clone projects. Like I honestly think that's one of their most underrated features on the entire platform.
But let me just say this. You see, you use the word stealing. That's the same word they used in the 90s with the music industry. They're stealing my song and they're putting it in their track. Like that word is no longer going to be stealing, because the web is so saturated now that really, if you think about, like, if you think about FN Suite's, I was going through FN Suite's like page, and he's like, here's the projects I've done, the FN Suite collection. And if you just scroll down, I love his work. Joe is fucking genius, but it's almost identical in terms of layouts. If you just look at the boxes and use the structure, it's almost identical for a lot of these websites. Yeah, that's because that's what you do dealing with clients. So is it really stealing? Like, oh, I have a picture on the left and some text on the right, and then it's like, well, it's the same shit.
You know
what I say stealing,
all the music is sample.
Yeah,
exactly. So just come up with a different word. We're borrowing it.
When I say stealing, I say like Picasso, great artists borrow, or what a good artist borrow, great artist steal. But in my mind, it's about stealing the inspiration, not, you know, like the actual product, right? So it's not about copying. And I'm actually not a big fan of that. I like it for learning. And I think that's what most people are using the clonables for, is to learn and to dissect and to see, you know, like how people build certain things, and to be able to go in and like understand how components were laid out and structured, et cetera. And then obviously templates, people will use those, but yeah, I don't mean stealing as in stealing. It's just, you know, the term you use to kind of talk about it.
But I was wondering, guys, something I wanted to talk about today was the showcase. I know we touched on it a little bit last week, but this week it's become a serious problem for me, because I just realized that the popular section, yeah, no one knows exactly where this is going. He's like, let me just get some popcorn and watch this battle go down. Like, basically, yeah, we had the popular section, and it's completely curated, which means that this whole time people look at that section, they think, wow, if my project is...
No, it's not completely curated.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, well, it might be that they select it once it reaches a certain threshold, but for sure they pop stuff in there occasionally that you know, they just want to promote, or maybe it's a partner agency that they just, you know, I don't know, or a nice design that they like.
Point me to one project that has naturally, organically, there. I mean, there's a project there for just like 50 likes and like 300 views or something, and it's right there on the second page. And I'm like, there are projects last week that just got 1,000 views, like 300 clones or something, that's not being featured there. This is not organic at all.
Well, so it's not like, honestly, like in my mind, I would tell you to fuck off, because it doesn't matter. Like if I was Webflow, right? I'm speaking as Webflow right now. I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. It's my traffic. This is my showcase, and I'm gonna pick the best ones out of here and put it up front, because that's where I get the most organic traffic from people. So if I, let's say, as a relationship to a client or an agency that I just did some dealings with, or maybe like an affiliate partner or somebody, and I want to give them a little bit of juice that comes from my traffic organically, I'm gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna put this right here, and I'm gonna let you get a little bit of, you know, traffic from this.
My problem is not that. My problem is not that. My problem is there are projects way better.
Yeah, but who cares? That's what I'm telling you. That doesn't matter. Like there's an argument to be made where you could say, hey, you should have only a section that's just trending based on these parameters.
Sure.
But to even have any beef with them, like saying, hey, we're gonna showcase a project because we want to, it's silly.
That's not my problem.
They do whatever they want.
That's not my problem. I feel like the main issue is not what they're doing. My issue is that what the showcase ends up doing is it starts surfacing so many projects that turn developers off. It turns people off from Webflow because they're like, okay, this is what they're building. Like the same
Sure,
problem happens
in the
with a lot of
clonable section, I could see that, but
Yeah.
never in the popular section. Like everything in that popular section has value. You know,
I'm
like
not saying it doesn't have value.
I've never gone into anything that's in that popular section and been like, okay, I disagree with that.
No, I'm
Like I don't think it deserves to be there.
But no, I'm not saying it shouldn't. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen. I'm not saying it shouldn't be there. I'm saying that I think every no-code platform I've seen so far has done kind of a weak job actually surfacing the content that will make someone go, holy shit, I have to use this. Like there are some, not to toot my own horn, but like for some of the prototypes I've done, community people literally wrote to me who hated Webflow. They're like, I never want to get into this. So like, I consider going back into Webflow because of that. And I'm just wondering, I'm saying, how many templates and landing pages and like coming soon pages do we need to feature until we realize that shit, that's not what makes Webflow Webflow. It's the clonability, for example.
Yeah, but
where
I talked to you about this the other day too. You got to understand, like this was initially built as a showcase, and then they exploded and grew into like the monster they are. That's why, you know, like Noah's redesigns, you know, like is introducing an idea. Like he did this the other day, introducing ideas of what it could become, but it's got a long way. And they were a fairly small team, and now they've taken all this money and they're restructuring and blah, blah, blah. You could see them organizing. And so I guarantee you, they've got a team that's going to handle that showcase. They were building a platform, not a social network, right? And so they never expected to have this many users and the social component of their platform be a structural element of their business. And so now they've got to take that into account, and that takes time to just go down chain and figure out, hey, we've got all this traffic, all this activity. This is a thing we never really expected to be a main feature for our business model that we now have to integrate to the core model. And with a company that size, that's a task, right? Like it's a significant challenge.
And it's not even a, if I were to assume, like, you know, I'm just from looking at it from, you know, an outer perspective, like it just doesn't seem like a priority right now either. You know, it's just there's so many other things, like, you know, especially we're not that far away from when they launched e-commerce, you know, which is number one, and they're constantly expanding that, especially, you know, so all those different things, especially, you know, you've seen that they've hired, you know, they've constantly just been hiring like you know, engineers and stuff like that. So it's just, I think that we won't see a change, you know, in that area of Webflow for like quite a while.
I think it comes down to strategy. Some like Squarespace, for example, one of my, you know, issues with no-code tools versus Squarespace is actually super weak compared to like Bubble or Webflow or anything else. I mean, it's like a toy compared to these tools. But their marketing team is the only reason that they've been so successful. I tell you right now, almost every YouTuber that I subscribe to says, oh, and a shout out to Squarespace. Thank you for sponsoring my thing. Like, it's just
that's just advertising.
Yeah,
those are literally just ad dollars, and Webflow will have those ad dollars now to do some of that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not hitting on them. I'm saying, like, I'm just like pointing out that someone made a really good point. Where it's like, I would love if there was a tab where it's like, here are useful assets for your projects, not just call it.
Here's the other thing that happens too, if they start introducing editorial decisions inside of that stuff, is you start getting controversy because people like you are like, well, my piece should be showcased at the top. And then you have hundreds of thousands of people like, no, it's mine, no. And then you get an editorial thing. And so that's where that's what, again, Twitter and Facebook are seeing that right now. So at one point, you're going to not want Webflow to be anywhere near editorial decisions as to what's popular, what's not, which is why I like seeing people grabbing and making their own searchable showcases and taking some of that stuff, because you don't really want Webflow saying this site's better than that site, because that's not the position they want to be in. I got to imagine at a high level either.
I'm saying that as a user. I feel like, for example, Bubble Showcase compared to what they can do with Bubble is very, very weak.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Tutorials, just don't even bother. Like, don't even bother compared to like people. You see how many tweets on Twitter going like, it's hard to watch any tutorial after Webflow's tutorials. It is true. It is what it is. Another point is, like, you mentioned clonable elements not being very popular. You see, clonability is your main feature. Squarespace's is templates. So they're all, you know, like, look at what Idris Elba did with his template.
I could say one thing, if I could just jump in. Because comparing Bubble's showcase to Webflow's showcase, I don't like, I hear what you're saying, and I get it. Trust me, I do. Like, the only really argument I see on your side is why isn't the, like those parameters that Raymar mentioned a while back, like why aren't those being taken into account? I get where people could argue from that side, and even though I kind of lean more towards the argument, the position argument that Raymar, proposed, like, just a few minutes ago, where Webflow doesn't want to be, and they do have the right to kind of showcase what they want. And
I'm not saying they don't have the right to.
No, I'm not. That's not where I was going to say. Where I was going with this was saying that, in my personal opinion, I don't think, as just from an outside perspective, I wouldn't, if I was someone new to Webflow, I wouldn't go to the showcase and be like, none of these projects want to make me use Webflow. Like, every one of them does to me. And in fact, I don't think they've made a wrong move because they've only been growing. They've only been growing. It would be different if, like, they weren't growing. Like, you don't really hear of Bubble growing as rapidly as Webflow does. You know what I'm saying? By any means, but not only that, Showcase is just one part of the, this one tiny section of, like, this platform. You're talking about, like, when something great happens or comes out, like, look, Webflow retweeted your project on Twitter, man. You know what I'm saying? So,
but just to wrap up that point, PC Fix, we're going to get to you in a second. I just wanted to say, it's because I love the platform that I'm, like, trying to. I'm not trying to nitpick. I'm saying that just a few more parameters and filters would allow people to engage with the features of Webflow so much better. Where it's like, here's, for example, free templates. Like, there's the UI, the leaf kit, the UI leaf that just came out, right? There's the Squarespace clonable I created, and there's these all other different, you're doing something really cool. Raymar's released a lot of elements. If that would be featured and say, here's a template filter where you can find community templates. Here's a filter that lets you find prototypes. Here's another one that lets you, they will be like showcasing not just a showcase, but what you can do actually.
Okay, I gotta say, I'm actually glad they don't do that, because it creates an opportunity for us to do those things and carve niches for, for the industry. Like, gotcha. I think that's probably what they want. They want the community handling stuff. And they want us making videos like this and doing those things.
And as a general statement, I think what it comes down to is what you're saying is, could they make it better? Yes, 100%. And everything could get better and become better. And that's,
I just don't want to hear people say, like, oh, that's Webflow. Like, I'm sorry, I've actually heard a lot of people go through Showcase and be like, yeah, I'm not that impressed. And I was like, well, actually look at that. And they're like, okay, great. And Raymar, I'm not at all saying that, hey, mine should be at the top. Like, just come on. Like,
well, I just meant, I don't mean like as in you, but people, that's what the argument would become, right? That's everyone wants to see theirs at the top. So, like, and maybe it's not you, but it's the FinSuite guys, because maybe 50 other got in, and for some reason theirs didn't get featured, and you're just like, oh, people start feeling salty and politics get involved, and then you just it's a good
point you mentioned about Webflow is not a social network, like, you're not creating that. But think about it, the no code as leaders in that, like, literally the number one to me, Webflow is, like, right there leading the charge. Like, they could legitimately create the first community network for no code, and they already have the assets for that. So I think we're going to get there. But PC Fix, welcome to our first official Zoom, man.
Hey,
what up, dude?
Sorry about the name. My name is Mushfiq Rahman. Hey, Noah, how are you? Ryanmar and everybody.
Good.
Yeah, so I forgot to change the PC name, That's why I
can put a face to I can put a face to the Webflow account.
Am I too late?
No, just hanging out. Guys, just FYI, I will probably have to leave shortly after 1 here, so I don't have too much longer.
What times are you in right now?
It's 12:56, so I've probably got another 10 minutes or so before I have to really book.
I have like 15 minutes as well.
Okay.
The other thing I think we should maybe spend some time chatting about is, are we going to do this weekly? Should we just plan on doing this?
Something else I would like to do too, which it's funny because it was actually something I've been considering doing before Code Crumbs even was a thing. But I wanted people to, I thought it'd be cool to have people that maybe want some help in their Webflow projects, like maybe present their projects, and we can kind of like help them, live.
Yeah, I think it might help us to have like a formatted outline for these things. I think and have some kind of structure where it's like, hey, the first couple minutes it's like news and what's kind of current and trending, And then, you know, maybe we have a little bit of interactive session where it's like, what projects are you working on? Or, you know, somebody shows and tells something that they've seen or something like that. And then we can get into some of that like interactive hands-on. And I think if that's what's happening towards the end of it, as people trickle on, if it just becomes, hey, we're just hanging out doing support, helping people do whatever, you know, like that way we get the, you know, the meat and potatoes early, and then you just kind of, it could become free flow after
what
that.
What makes the show different, again, just to, you know, make that very clear, is the aspect that anyone can join freely. Like if this becomes, imagine this becoming like a really super famous show, popular show on the no-code community, let's say, and anyone can join anytime, like 15 people at the same time, just listening in, asking questions, stuff. This doesn't have to be a 1 hour format. And I think that that's another thing we have to talk about. If someone, I think next time maybe I should be creating the Zoom one, because if
I don't have to turn it off, so we could leave it on. I don't have to close the meeting. Okay. So yeah, you guys are glad. I think you guys can stay in the meeting if I just maybe. I think I can leave and not. Otherwise, I'll just leave it running, like whatever. Yeah.
And then you can turn it off, or how do we turn it off? We just.
Yeah, you just leave the meeting, I guess. I'll have to.
You can edit out the video. You can edit out the video.
I guess that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like if we want the video to be relevant, or we want people to actually watch these videos, you know, at least at the early, that first 5 or 10 minutes should really be structured, and then it can turn into whatever we want. Right. So from a replay standpoint, if we want these things to have long-term value, we just got to kind of figure out how do we get into them so that like that first blink is interesting.
I think the first hour is structured content, and then after that it's open season, where it's like we're talking about, you know, whatever. And on that note, I want to actually end it on a cliffhanger. I'm working on a match pair game in Webflow, broken into 3 levels. So the first level would be like 9 cards, the other one would be like 18 cards, and then it'd be, you know, getting bigger and bigger as you go. And you only get to make like a few mistakes. So when there's only like, you know, 9 cards, you get to make maybe 2 mistakes, 3 mistakes, and then it's like reset everything. And I'm using divs for everything here, and I'm gonna make it clonable so you can actually see how this thing works. So I created a tweet on Twitter asking the community what theme they wanted. Now it's like neck to neck with The Witcher and Lord of the Rings. So I'm hoping like we'll get some closure on that. I don't know, which theme do you think I should go with? Like the cards, the time.
So it seems like to me that when Game of Thrones ended, like all the memes and everything related to Game of Thrones, just like that was it.
Yeah.
So I'd maybe say not Game of Thrones based on that, but
it's like my game is gonna be downvoted just because it's like boo Game of Thrones. Like, we didn't like the ending.
Yeah, well, I mean, you want reach with what you're doing, so I'm just, you know, it might have anyway. So we kind of began talking about our own topics. We didn't let you jump in, so I think you should be you and Musherech. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Mushfiq. Yeah.
Great, Mushfiq, yeah. So I think you two can jump in for a couple of minutes. Let us know what you guys are working on, what you want to talk about, and then we can let Raymar fly to his next meeting.
Well, like I said, I could probably just kill the live stream, and you guys could just keep going on in the Zoom chat. Like, that's no problem.
Well, up to you. Yeah, we could just let people jump in like that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
sure.
That way you guys don't have to worry about.
Then how about all of us do a little shout out at the end. What are we all working on? What do you want to do next time, next week? What's something you want to explore?
So I mean, I guess it was kind of interesting listening to Noah talking about the Crumbles site. I guess I've been spending time kind of going through a bunch of tutorials and trying to figure out what different no-code tools work well for how I approach things, and who has approachable documentation, who's got good tutorials that I'm able to follow, kind of that kind of thing. Because there's kind of a couple of different things that I'd like to build, but some of it is there's got to be a match of, hey, where's the tool set? Where my skill set with what's, you know, possible. Maybe maybe there's something I want to do. I can't do it today, but maybe 6 months from now, and my skills are better, I can do. So where this kind of ties back to Noah's is I've been kind of trying to think of how to maybe share some of that online. I'm much more of an introvert and not necessarily so much putting stuff out there, but because so many people are coming into no code, just trying to figure out hey, the stuff that I'm learning, what would be a digestible format that might actually be helpful to someone else 2 months from now, or 3 months from now. So I don't know if any of you have any thoughts or ideas or seen any examples or go ahead.
Are you talking about things that you want to put out and share that's already out there? Or
I'm kind of feeling like wanting to try and share, I don't know, some kind of journey or something about, hey, these tutorials worked for me, these didn't. It's really kind of a nebulous idea. So right. That may be hard it may not make sense to any of you because it's so kind of jumbled in my mind at the moment. Right. But so I just, when you were kind of talking about trying to organize your code snippets, I feel like in some ways I'm trying to organize some of the chaos that's in my head, and maybe if I can figure out some of that, maybe it would benefit somebody else as well. But not sure how, I guess at the moment, not sure how to make sense of any of that.
I think it probably starts with writing it down first, like what might not, like, I think maybe taking one thing at a time. So like if you were struggling with one specific thing, maybe writing that down. And then if you did find a solution, like where did you find it at? What helped you? And then I think maybe circling back to that when that happens again. And then if you found another place that was really good, jot that down. And then you have like 2 resources, that you can maybe use. And then, I'd probably just keep doing that. I mean, that's kind of how Code Crumbs came for me,
Okay. No, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I've kind of just been throwing stuff lately in a Notion document.
There you go.
Just as a at least part of trying to make sense of what's in my head. So
I want to do a quick shout out, if that's okay with you guys, to an app that I've been using, and it's like absolutely amazing. And I'll just kind of screen share real quick because this might help you too.
Yeah.
So I've been using this amazing app called Walling. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but it's
no. How's it spelled?
It's exactly like the way it sounds. So it's walling.app.
Nice.
And this app is awesome, man. And the one cool thing what I wanted to share with you guys real quick is because what she was just saying is as far as like, having to go into a Notion and write it down, which Notion's great. Notion, in my opinion, is an amazing tool as well. The only thing is I feel like it can be a little complex sometimes for simple things that you want to do because you got to like structure everything and all this. Walling is like a much simpler way of doing that. So if I were to open up Walling, so this is like my thing. So I have like this work resources where they call these walls. And then walls, you can have all these sections, right? And you have these things called bricks, which are like these things. So I have like this area where I just have like cool fonts, places where I can grab cool fonts. And I just go. And the cool thing is you could add like headings, text. If I wanted to add certain things to it, I can. I don't want to remove that. But I can. Let's see. If I wanted to delete this heading, I just backspace and it's gone. But here's the real cool thing about it is if I were to go back here, let's say I wanted to bookmark Code Crumbs. It comes with like this awesome extension here where it just grabs the thing for you and you can write in any information about it. Like, hey, I thought this was really cool. Maybe I can come up here and say code snippets, for Webflow. And you can here like maybe write about it. And here you can choose what wall you want to save it to. So I'll save it to work resources. And here.
Oh, that's faster than Notion. Yeah.
So much faster than Notion. I save it. And if I go back to Walling and I go to my work resources and I go to code, let's see, where is it? I can see it's right here.
Okay.
It's so fast and you can open these up. It's amazing.
Okay. No, that's a great tip. Thank you.
Yeah, just a cool plug. Walling, and I think it's super cheap too. And I think right now he's doing something where it's like I can't remember how it's like maybe $90 for a lifetime with all.
Okay.
So yeah.
No, thank you. Yeah, no. I like Notion, but I'm also struggling with Notion too. So okay. No, great. Thank you.
This tool is quite elegant than Toby Chrome extension I have used.
What's up?
Yeah, it's called Toby Adobe Chrome extension, you know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you can organize all those links in one single tab, and then whenever you need it and you can use it. You can even make categories and then put the link on that category. So it lets you organize everything, you
Can
know.
you upload your own stuff to it?
No, no, no. You can just bookmark it.
Well, I feel like all these
Bookmarking.
tools are kind of like on the fly Pinterest boards. It's like essentially
Well,
really fast.
that's the difference. Is you can upload your own stuff. So if you were working on a project, let's say to you, and you wanted to create your own wall for that project, you could. You can create all your own stuff. You could upload PDFs, images.
Can I ask a question here, just as a personal? I'm going to do some user testing on you guys because I'm excited about a product we're building that's very browser extension-ish, like what you just showed us.
Well, I just wanted to say it's not browser,
no.
browser extension.
Yeah,
for
but
is just the plus.
Yeah. No. I'm just imagine. Would you see value what if you weren't sending it to Wally? What if you were sending it into a Webflow CMS?
Yeah, that'd be badass.
Wow.
Okay. Cool. That's all I needed to hear. Thanks.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, man. Especially if you were
We're playing around and experimenting with something like that instead of sending it to a place like Wally, it would just pipe it to a no-code destination. So a
Nice.
Webflow, WordPress, a Bubble, Airtable, a Zapier, or whatever you want.
I wanted to know why you make that in the first place. Do you have any use case that you thought?
Well, we have some ideal use cases for what we think we're going to do with the communities and the network effect that it'll create. So imagine like a no-code.video site, like the one that this is streaming to right now. Imagine me being able to give this to 20 other contributors as a browser extension and say, hey, anytime you find an interesting no-code video, submit it here. Or maybe the creators themselves. So when Nelson publishes a new video on his website, if I give him this little browser extension, I say, hey, Nelson, once you publish your video, open this up and shoot it into the no-code video. Like now we're all pumping video into this one space. Now we all have access to this content. We can kind of daisy chain our blogs together. And the idea is that you create like a distributed media network around that one idea or that one concept or that one topic.
What I would probably do or add to it is definitely like a Zapier integration. And I say this because one cool use case I could see for it is for example, let's say you have a blogging site, like someone who writes about maybe it doesn't have to be new tools. Let's say like something about like, dorm life, it's like an online magazine for dorm life for college students all around, whatever, right? Let's say someone's writing about this. That extension would be cool. Like, let's say most people who write articles are doing it in like Ulysses or something like that. So Ulysses has a Zapier integration, whatever, right? It'd be cool if you can bookmark that or not bookmark it, but use the extension to kind of start the article and write down some quick ideas you had and maybe capture some of the assets.
That's the whole game. That's the idea, is to be able to do that. And then you pick your destination. Yeah. I mean, theoretically you could connect, that might be a destination, but the first one might be Zapier because it'll be more versatile to then send it to that. But
because you can send it to that, and then from that, once you finalize the article, with whatever corrections or edits, then you could send that to Webflow CMS, so to speak.
Yeah. Like imagine, okay, I'm going to show you. Can you guys see the screen here?
Yeah.
And the 2,000 other tabs.
I know. That's my tabs. Don't worry. There's a space for each of those in my brain right now. All right. So yes, the idea is that you would just come into this thing. You could add markup. So the idea is that you could add inline. So let's say I wanted to highlight a piece of text or an image and add some notes or a thought about that inline. So as you come back to the website, then I'd be able to see, let's say Noah's markup or Sarkis markup in line with that item. And then I could add a destination. So this is where you could then come in and, add whatever destination you want. You would authorize that. You pick your site, you pick your collection, and then you've got the collection here with an embeddable dynamic embed. So if this is YouTube, it'll pull the video. If it's SoundCloud, it'll pull the SoundCloud, it'll pull whatever that embeddable content is. And then it grabs a canonical URL and it feeds it into whatever that destination is. And then you can make them private. So we'll grab an activity feed of all of this activity and we'll turn that into like, hey, this is what the no-code community is doing, or this is what the whatever people in this thing are doing. But if it's private, then it'll just go to your website. And so that's kind of the gist for the MVP. And the idea is that then we start even thinking about like a signal to noise ranking and let people score pages or add credibility matrix somehow to where like, this thing becomes a whole augmented layer of social experience that lives on top of the web that's then segmented by group.
Super cool.
That could work.
That's something you're actively working on with like a developer right now, or?
Yeah, we're in the middle of doing we just finished up the first round of user testing on the prototypes and are going into the discovery phase with the development team to kind of roadmap the whole thing out so that we can see.
Dude, let me know if you need a beta tester, man.
Oh, we will for sure be. This is one of the reasons, again, why this no code video plays. I'm going to be building a lot of these kind of like community-based media type sites, because the goal is that then I could imagine if it's just a local community, like it's like the community here, Sarasota, for instance, and I give all the influencers and all the people around town that are doing interesting things a same tool. And I say, hey, anytime anything exciting happens in Sarasota, click this button with this browser extension and send me the post with a little note about why. And next thing you know, we've got a media property that's Sarasota by Sarasota, not by some journalist, not by some media company, not by some news, like literally by the people. And so we think that what you could do, you slap a membership on that, you put a member stack, you put a paywall, you put whatever you want around that. And next thing you know, like it's just a different world.
What are you calling this?
The browser extension will be called Atmosphere.
Sweet. That's a good name too.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
You know what I think? You know what I think?
Yeah, we'll see that. You know, the development is always where that shit comes down to it, but it's pretty easy. We're just connecting APIs, so like we're not really building anything like revolutionary.
The hard part is what do they call it? Parsing the information, right? I mean, that's
no, because everything we're using has APIs, and so literally we're just going to map dynamic form fields to whatever API. So like in Webflow's instance, we're just going to map your collection field. So whatever your collection fields are, using the API, we'll generate a dynamic form field in the browser that just maps those fields.
Okay, I was under the impression like parsing the information on the web page that you're on.
Oh, eventually, one of the things we're playing with is, could you train it on a web page? So could I open this up and say, hey, this title class, always pull the title from here.
Yeah,
this video or this.
Or it gives you like a select options, like which one.
Yeah, you could just map the field to that, and then you say, hey, go check this page once a day. And feed that content into a thing. So yeah, we think there's all sorts of potential here.
That's cool.
Raymar's nervous to invite me. He's like, Saku's going to about the showcase, Atmosphere showcase isn't doing great.
Nah, I've been telling everybody who will listen about this thing, you know, so it's, yeah, we're really excited about actually getting the ball rolling. We'll hopefully have the bank account funded Monday to bring the full dev team on full time. Yeah. So.
But guys, listen, I know Raymar, you got to go.
Yeah, I got to dip.
But quick shout out. So Noah, you're working on when do you think you're going to launch the crumbs?
Well, it's already out, but I don't know. I'm kind of going through some phases. I think I'm going to readjust the pricing on it.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll do a public announcement when that's like fully ready.
Something like beginning of March or something like that?
Yeah, probably something like that.
Yeah. Okay, great. Colleen?
Maybe middle of March.
I guess putting some structure to this kind of chaos that's in my head. So there's also another thing that I'm working on that I can talk about but more next time. So that I'm a bit stuck on. But
yeah, I think for homework, we should all have a couple bullet items that we come back next week with. Perfect. Hey, like, you know.
Yeah.
Mushfiq, what are you working on?
Yeah, so right now I'm working on redesigning my side project, uiflow.co.
Nice.
So first time I had a MVP version of that. So I have lots of ideas now. So working with the designer, and he's like 60% done with the design. And it will be great. If I can get some feedback from you guys, how I can make it better, you know?
Yeah, see, this is why I like this, because, you know, he's building an option for the showcase here that we were just talking about, that this is, you know, and there's searchable versions of this stuff, and all sorts of people are doing things like this that, you know, it's great, and it takes you out. And actually, this isn't all showcase. This is all sorts of different things, huh?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we? Do you think it'll be ready by next Wednesday? We can maybe
no.
No, need more time.
No.
I'm just putting everyone on the spot today.
Yeah, if I could punch in on this too, I wanted to tell you, Moshe, that I know you submitted to have UI flow on the resource page on Code Crumbs.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any like showcase type resources on this. That's why you notice like Flowbase isn't on there. Like a lot of cool ones.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, they're not on that. The only reason is because the resources are strictly for like app like type.
Okay.
What if you did like a partners or like, you know, shout outs kind of thing, links like kind of thing at
Yeah,
the
but
bottom?
the thing is, I talked to my brother a long time, and I think it's really really important to know what you are
Focusing,
in service and do just that, because some people want to do too much and kind of stray away from the idea of what the app is or website servicing, and
Yeah, then it's like,
don't
if
wanna
I'm doing
confuse
this, we can do
them.
that. Yeah,
It's strictly for use, and that's, if you notice, Code Crumbs is that. It's just like a use type kind of app where you can
I feel
do
you. I like that.
instead
I
of-
like that. I like that direction. Raymar, the man of the hour. What do you, what's, plug us?
I just did. I think almost all of my attention is focused on that browser
Nice.
extension, and we hope to
The
be
event's
rolling
tomorrow?
that out. Yeah, we've got
Are
a
we
meetup tomorrow.
Are we seeing any photos, any videos? Are you going to be documenting in any way? Maybe we can.
This will
show
be a
next week.
this will be a small one, so yeah, we won't be like I don't think recording or doing anything real heavy from a multimedia standpoint for this one.
Raymar's like, he's the guy who goes on stage and does those selfies with 10,000 people in the background. It's like, that's the only one I'm sharing on Twitter. I'm not doing any small shout outs.
It's just a lot of work to set the stuff up for like you know, for 4 or 5 people, you know, to, you know, if we're all sitting at our desk, it's okay because I don't have to bring the gear out. But if I got to get the gear and lighting and all that shit, like fuck all that.
Well, 2 things on my end. Tomorrow I'm doing the first Webflow masterclass in Chiang Mai. No one really knows about Webflow out here, so that's gonna be exciting.
Wow.
Spending like an hour, 2 hours doing a breakdown of a few tools, also doing like a PlayStation breakdown. They're very excited about that. And actually, that was the organizers of these events actually found that particular prototype. They're like, you have to come and tell us about Webflow because we've just been in WordPress land and Squarespace. We didn't even know about this. And I was like, that's exciting. So I want to go share that with them. And on Sunday, I have a big announcement coming. So it hasn't been announced live yet, but the No Code Rumble guys, I was telling you about this past couple of weeks, that's being announced officially with MakerPad on Sunday. And we're going to be, Mushfiq, I don't know if you heard about this, but basically we're going to be bringing together like 8 creators. And I'm going to be building, I have the privilege of building those platforms in 4 weeks. So I have a very small amount of time, but it's going to be live streamed as well. So we're going to do like thing. So I just want to take that opportunity to kind of show the community that, listen, you can use all these techniques, clonability, templates, custom code, all these kind of things to create amazing platforms very fast. You know, there are people who spend like months and months building one Squarespace website, and these crazy motherfuckers built 8 platforms in 4 weeks. So I want to kind of show them as well, like how easy it is to go from idea to execution. And, you know, I've learned so much from the community in the past few years, you know, like Noah and Raymar and everybody here as well, like Mushfiq as well, doing like really nice, exciting clonables too. Like this is what it's about. And I think that this could become like almost a monthly annual thing where, you know, MakerPad, like I talked to MakerPad and a few others, and like, we would love to sponsor this. Like we want the community to kind of do their own online kind of hackathon thing where you don't have to be in a room for just a few hours. You can actually be around the world and figure out the time zones and figure out how you're coming together and just creating really like industry level stuff. I'm not talking about like a quick hack, an actual product that people love to use. And imagine thousands of people getting on the live stream through MakerPad, through wherever, and just being like, we like this, we don't like this, getting that feedback live, right? Not being a closed
feedback, right?
Say it again.
Instant feedback.
Instant feedback. And I think Mushfiq, like that's what I'm saying. Maybe next week, if you just jump on board with your designer, for example, like, hey, we have these ideas. What do you guys think? You know, the way that Noah did, the way that Raymar did, the way that Colleen did. I love her idea. Like, I think that kind of serendipitous activity, that opportunity is the way forward. And I think if we start doing it, many other people will start doing it. And then suddenly some other person's going to do this event that, you know, we're doing right now and come up with a better name for it.
Exactly.
We still didn't pick a name.
I think we got to do, I think we got to put up a,
like a Twitter poll or something.
Yeah, all of us, and just be like, we need help. Or we're just going to call it Hello World.
or no name, no code.
No name, no code.
The no name meetup.
The nameless. The nameless 5. Guys, we need to do like a neutral gang sign thing for a Twitter screenshot, so we can share it for next week. Ready?
Yeah.
That
I don't know what that
I was
means.
like,
I don't know what that means either.
I appreciate it, guys. Raymar, this is awesome. Thanks for your time, guys. Noah, Colleen, Mushfiq, everybody. If you want to stay on the chat, I'm going to be here for a little while. I know the community is just finding out about this now. So if Raymar, if it's okay with you, if you could keep the
I'm
Zoom
just gonna,
on.
yeah, I'll just stop the stream and you guys can, yeah, I'll just leave it to you guys from here.
I got a dip, but I'll see you guys next week for sure. It's been awesome as always.
Thank you, guys.
All
Have a
right,
great
see
week.
ya.